Hello guys, so in this video we're going to talk about chapter 9.1B, the percentage change in the direct variation. So we have two formulas to be remembered in this video. The first one is percentage change, which is equal to the new value minus the old value and then divided by the old value, all the thing times 100%. And the second one is to understand that when you say something like y varies directly as x or y is directly proportional to x. So this actually means, so this whole thing can be changed to a symbol y is proportional to x. So every time when you see this symbol directly proportional to, you can change it to equal to k. So which means that we can change this formula to be y equal to kx. So that's the main two things we need to be remembered in this chapter. So now we can move into our worksheet question 1. So in this question, you can see that the question is asking y varies directly as t, and find the percentage if something happened, if something like t is decreased by 1%. So what we want to find is the percentage. So first of all, we need to use the percentage change formula, which is equal to the new t, the new y, minus the old y, divided by the old y. So in this formula, we need to find out what is our new y and what is our old y. So for example, because y is varies directly as t, so we can write it as y is proportional to t, and then we can write it as y is equal to kt. So in this is our old y. And because our t is decreased by 1%, which means that there's a new t comes out. So we can find out our new t, which is equal to the original t times 1 minus 1%. Then this is equal to t times 99%, which is equal to 0.99t. Okay, this is our new t. Then now we need to find out our new y. So new y, because the y got a relationship with t, so we can write new y as k times the new value of t, which is equal to k times 0.99t. Then we get our new y is equal to 0.99 kt. Then after that, we can use our formula to find out the percentage change. So our percentage change is gonna be equal to the new y, which is 0.99 kt, minus the old y, which is kt, divided by old y again, which is kt. So in this formula, you can see that our kt is the common factor. So we can take out the kt as the common factor. Then we have 0.99 to minus the 1 here, because kt times 1 gives you back the kt. So we can minus the 1, then we divide it by kt again. Then we can eliminate this kt, and then the thing we left is 0.99 minus 1, which is equal to minus 0.01. So if you want to change this number back to a percentage into times 100%, then you can get is minus 1%. So this is our final answer for part A. So can you guys doing in a similar way for part B as well? So I won't do part B in this video. So now we can move into question 2. So question 2, we have the sentence says that p is directional proportional to s cubed, and then find the percentage change p if something has happened. Okay, so similarly, we need to find out our percentage change of p. So this is equal to the new p minus the old p divided by the old p times 100%. So because we got this p is directly proportional to s cubed, which means that we can write it something like p is proportional to s cubed. And every time when you see this symbol, which means that you can change it to equal to k, isn't it? So we can have p is equal to ks cubed. So now we want to find out what is the new s, as we have this s is tripled. So our new s is gonna be equal to 3 times of the original s. This is our first one. Then now we can find out our new p. So because p and s got a relationship, so p can be written as ks cubed. So new p can be written as k times new s cubed. Then we substitute this new s equal to 3s to be here. Then we can have the new p is equal to k times 3s cubed. Then how can we do this one? So when we have something like ab to the power of n, the power can be distributed to both of the things inside. So now we can say this is equal to a to the power of n times b to the power of n, which means that our 3s to the power of 3 can be written as k times 3 to the power of 3 times s cubed, where 3 to the power of 3 is actually equal to 27. So this is 27 ks cubed. So this is our new p, this is our old p. Then we can using this formula to calculate out what is the percentage of p. So our percentage change is actually equal to 27 ks cubed minus ks cubed divided by ks cubed. So in this formula, our ks cubed as our common factor, so we can take that out. So we have ks cubed times 27 minus 1 divided by ks cubed. So you can see from both numerator and denominator we got this ks cubed, so we can eliminate it out. Then what we have is this 26. So don't add a percentage directly here because 26 is a number, it's not a percentage number. If you want to change it back to percentage into times 100%, so it is equal to 2600 percentage. Alright, so now it's your turn to do the similar as the part B. But please be remembered that this is not increased. A lot of people think this is increased, but it's actually decreased. So in this question, the new s should be equal to 1 minus 45% times the original s. Then we have 0.55s. So try to use this new s to finish the rest. Alright. So now we are moving to next question, question 3. So this is some wording questions. It's quite hard for you guys to do. But what you're gonna do is to change our sentence, the whole sentence, into some mathematical symbols. So for example, the first one, the cost. So the cost of the building of a circular garden. So actually something is not really useful, which is this one. We only concentrate about the cost. So cost is our main thing. Cost of what is not our main thing. So we can say, first of all, to let the cost of blah 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 is C. Okay, so now we have the second one is various. You can see from here is various directly as. So this means that this sentence can be changed to this fish sign. And after that we have the square of the radius. The square of the radius. So how can we write it as the square of the radius? If we let the radius of something is equal to r, then the square of the radius is actually r squared. So now we have our first thing, which is c is proportional to r squared. That's the first condition we have. And in the second sentence, we have if the radius of the garden increased by 8%. Because our radius is increased, then we have a new value of radius, which means that we can find out our new radius. And the question is asking find out the percentage increase of the cost. So what we want is the percentage change of cost. So we can use our formula, the new cost minus the old cost divided by the old cost, and then times 100%. So first of all, as the radius is increased by 8%, so we can find out our new radius, which is equal to the original radius times 1 plus 8%, which is gonna give you 1.08 r. So that is our new radius. And after that, we can find out our new cost, which is equal to, because from this formula, we can have that C is equal to KR squared, isn't it? And then we can change it to new C is equal to K times the new R outside brackets of the squared. Okay, so basically just change the C, become the new C, the R, you can change it to the new R. The next step is to substitute the new R, 1.08R, inside this formula. So we have K times 1.08R squared. Then using our formula, AB to the power of 2 is equal to A squared B squared. To expand the bracket, then we can have K times 1.08 squared times R squared. Then this is our new C. And I think this is equal to 1.1664 KR squared. Then next step, we can using our formula, new C minus old C divided by old C to find out the question's percentage change of C. Then we can have the percentage change of C is equal to 1.1664 KR squared minus our old C is here, KR squared, and then divided by KR squared. So similarly, we can take out our common factor KR squared here in the numerator. Then we have KR squared, open bracket 1.1664 minus 1, then divided by KR squared. So the next step is to eliminate both KR squared in the numerator and the denominator. Then we have the answer should be 16.64%. Alright, okay, so for the next one, so this one is quite hard to do. So let's firstly understand what the question is asking about. So the value, so we have our value of a piece of gold jewelry, and we have this is various directly as the cube of its weight. So first of all, we can let V be the value of the jewelry, and let the W be the weight. And then we can have the V is directly varied as the weight cubed. So we have our first relations, which is V is proportional to the weight cubed, which means that you can write it as V is equal to K weight cubed. Okay, so the second sentence says that if a piece of the gold is cut into two smaller jewelries with the same weight, and then the question is asking to find out the percentage change in the total value. So before we have the original the gold jewelry is like this. So the weight is W, and after that our new is becomes cut it into two pieces, is cut it into each of them got the weight over 2, isn't it? Okay, so the old value is gonna be equal to this one. The V is equal to K weighted to the power of 3. But after that, we cut it into two smaller jewelries with the same weight. Our new W becomes to W over 2. So our new value of one piece is gonna be equal to K times the new weight cubed, which is gonna give you K times W over 2 to the power of 3. Then answer should be KW cubed divided by 8. But this is only for one piece. So this is only for one piece, but actually we got 2 pieces, and the question is requiring to find out the total value, which means that both of them is counted. So the new total value, because we got 2, and then this is only for one piece, this is equal to KW cubed divided by 8 times 2, then it's actually equal to KW cubed divided by 4. Then we can using our percentage change of the total value is actually equal by using the formula new minus old divided by old. Then we can have K can have kw cubed divided by 4 minus kw cubed, which is our old total value, and then divided by our old value, which is kw cubed times 100%. Then we can take out our common factor kw cubed. Then what we left is kw cubed times 1 over 4 minus 1 divided by kw cubed. Then what we have is this 1 over 4 minus 1, then the answer should be minus 75%, using your calculator to calculate it out. Okay, so this question is a little bit tricky because most of you guys only calculated for one piece, only calculated for this one piece, but actually they're asking for total value, so you need to using your one piece value and then times the 2 to get the total value. Alright, so last question, question 5, is in the try more part. If you think it's very hard, then you can just skip it. But if you are interested about doing it, then try to follow me. Alright, so first of all, they are saying something z is directly proportional to the square root of u. So from this sentence, we can write z is proportional to the square root of u. And after that, we have something saying that the percentage change in z, if that is firstly decreased by 35%, then increased 40%, and finally decreased by 5% again. So how to think about this? So first of all, we can think about this as our original u. For example, the length is like this. This is the length. And after that, they're saying that is the first change. After the first change, it's going to be decreased by 35%. So probably it's looking like this. So if this is u, then after the first change is going to be equal to u times 1 minus 35%. So then we have the second change. We increase this one by 40%. Then what's that mean? It's gonna be increased something. So we're using this one to increase by 40%. So we're using this value to times another 1 plus 40%. Then we have this u minus 1 minus 35% times 1 plus 40%. Is this okay? So for the next one, we have our final change. So our final change is based on the second change, and it's decreased by 5%. Then we can have it decreased a little bit like this, but the value used is here. We're using this one and then decrease the 5%. So we have u times 1 minus 35%, 1 plus 40%, and times 1 minus 5%. So our new u should be equal to u times 1 minus 35%, which is the first change. Then the second change is 1 plus 40%, and the last change is 1 minus 5%. So in this formula, it can give you that u times 0.65 times 1.4 times 0.95. So if you can using your calculator to calculate it, it will have the answer should be equal to 0.8645 u. So that's our new u. So because we're going to find out the percentage in z, so now we need to find out our new z. So the new z is actually equal to k times the square root of the new u. So this is equal to k times the square root of 0.8645 u. Then if we're using the formula that the square root of AB is actually equal to the square root 8 times the square root of B, then we can separate this to be k times the square root 0.8645 times the square root of u. So this is our new z. Then now we need to find out what is the percentage change of z by using the formula, the new value of z minus the old z divided by the old z times 100%. Then we can have that the new z is this one, and our old z, I didn't write it down, so when we have this formula, we can have z is equal to k square root u. So this is our old z. Then we can have that k times square root 0.8645. So you can just leave it in your square root format, because we are only giving our answer to become the three significant figures. If you take three significant here, you will get an error in the final answer. So times the square root of u, and then minus our old z, which is k square root u, and then we divide our old z again, the k square root u. So you can see from this formula, we have k square root u as our common factor. So we can take that out, k square root u. Then we have the square root of 0.8645 minus 1 divided by k square root u. Then which means that we can eliminate both of them on the numerator and the denominator. Then the final answer should be equal to minus 7.00%. Okay, so that's it for today. So try to do it yourself again, and using a blank paper to do it. And then if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me again. All right.